Hello, it's Honey again, and today I want to do a video about wigs, all the different bits that go along with them and a little bit of care. I want to start with the various types and various qualities of wigs and things like that. Just to explain, I don't have any real hair wigs, so I will only be talking about synthetic hair and my experiences with that and what I've learnt from that so far. I'm no expert, I'm not sponsored in any way to do anything, so anything I say, if you know more than I do, feel free to chime in, but in the comments below. This is what I've learnt so far, and hopefully it will save you some time when it comes to picking out your own wigs and trying to decide what's best for what situation, what quality level you want to go to. It's not just the type of material you use, there's everything from acrylic to mono acrylic to nylon if it's really cheap and horrible, and I will go through all of that. Obviously once you move into the real hair range it starts to cost a hell of a lot more, and it's literally like modifying or a vehicle or things like that. There are so many little extras and so many little details that you can get done to it, that the price can literally be sky's the limit. So I'm just going to be talking about stuff that you can pretty much buy off the peg, and the basic sort of caps, and then up to the various different slightly more advanced caps, including mono caps, laced front caps, hand-tied knotted caps, etc. I'll show you all of that, but before we get there, before you even put a wig on your head, you obviously need to comb out your own hair, make sure it's clean and tidy, and then after that you want to protect your hair, and also to help make the wig slash weave sit better on your head, you want to wear a wig cap. There's various different types available, but essentially they're actually all just stockings with the ends sewn over. I buy them just for convenience, but you need to get yourself some of these. They're not expensive, and they are relatively, they do help keep things in place and make it a lot easier for you to manage your wig and that. They come in two shades. You've got tan and dark. Obviously if you find the one that's closest to your skin tone, obviously if your wig moves back at all or anything and it starts to peek out just here, obviously on me, if I've got that peeking out, it's a bit more obvious that I'm wearing a wig, whereas, you know, if you've got a thin tan coloured item, you might spot it before anyone else does. Again, match it to your own skin tone, but they really only come in two shades, tan or black, so make of that what you will. The other thing to remember, and preference here is key. This one is like a fishnet style cap. Lots of people swear by these because they're airy, they're light, they're extremely stretchy. They're also good for storing the wigs in afterwards. You can put the wig in here and turn it inside out, and then you've got a ready-made sort of storage bag for it, which, you know, is fair enough. But you can also do that with this style as well, which is more your traditional sort of sheer stocking sort of material, your nylon material, one solid piece with an elasticated top, or bottom actually, elasticated bottom, and again it's the same, it's just a stocking stitched over at the top. But they work, and they're relatively cheap. You can get these, you know, Amazon, wherever you like. They're like 99p. Sometimes they'll even come with some wigs when you buy them, but always make sure you've got a couple knocking around, because this is between your head and your weave, and this is going to be the first thing to get sweaty and dirty, especially if you're going to be wearing your wigs a lot. So keep a few on hand so you can swap them out while another one's in the wash. I'm personally right now wearing a couple of tan version of this. This is by far my favourite. I find that when I use these, the fishnet style, my natural hair sort of pokes through all the holes and nothing stays where you want it to. I also find the elastic on this style to be harsher. It leaves a much deeper line and groove, and can even give me a headache sometimes. So it's worth to bear in mind that really when you're thinking about a wig, it starts here with the cap. I'm going to move on to what I would call party wigs. So when we're talking about party style wigs, we're not just talking about bright colours and inlays and things like that. We're talking about the actual quality of the weave, of the what it's actually made from, and the cap inside itself as well. This is definitely a party style wig. It wasn't that cheap actually. It was £30, but it was £30, which is cheap, yes, but you know, you can buy super cheap versions that are as bad as this but cost far less, if that makes sense. This one is just an acrylic wig. It's really nasty. The manufacturing quality of it is really bad, and how it's all put together. As a matter of fact, it's actually started to, I found like a burnt bit in it earlier, and I think it's actually in places where it sits in sunlight at my home here. I think it actually started to melt in a few places, which is ludicrous. But as you can see with this is what I mean about the quality of it. This shouldn't be happening. I'm not even brushing it or combing it, and I've never brushed or combed this one because of this. Normally when you get a wig, they molt a little bit and then they stop. This thing has never stopped. It just continuously molts and falls apart, and that is no good to anyone. It's pretty diabolical. So, horrible acrylic. It'll make you feel hot and warm and everything else. Acrylic, probably with a nylon in there as well. Very cheap and easy to manufacture. It looks very wiggy as well. I mean, not that you'd expect any different for this kind of money, but it looks very wiggy. It's got a terrible parting, or whatever you want to call it, parting, where it's finished here. It's very difficult to cover and hide that. The crown is in the centre, when really a real crown is like here, in fact, on any person. So it looks very wiggy. I'm not just talking about the colour. Even if this was all black, it would still look very wiggy because of where the parting is, how it's finished. I mean, the quality of the stitching on this is awful as well. But this is what you get for 30 quid, and that's what I'm trying to explain to you, is don't expect the world if you're spending £30 on it. Essentially the cap, which is the inside part of it, is just another nylon, another fishnet style thing. I assume with this, all the weaves or wefts, which is how the hair's attached, they're usually in lines that are attached, it's all just glued to it's all just glued in to the wefts, and then the wefts are sewn in, which is what these lines are. It is absolutely bottom of the line sort of quality, but we've had some fun, and I don't know, I still keep it. I can chuck it on occasionally for something random, I'm sure. And if you want to try learning to cut wigs and things like that, then why not start somewhere on something like this that's should be retired. Again, another party quality one. This one has been used for cosplay. I can't imagine what sort of character I might have used that for with pink and blue hair, but this one is another cheap party one. Again, you'll notice the quality, it's so thin at the back, where I've had to pull it all round, and this is another indicator that it's just cheap as hell, because I've pulled all the hair around to form the ponytails, and of course that's left nothing at the back. It's gone really thin. You can see all the lines and the wefts and how they're attached. At least these ones are actually sewn in quite well actually, and this one doesn't just pull out and molt and everything. I do need to remove the bunches and comb this out now. I mean, it's looking pretty sad for itself, and I do need to show her some love. But yeah, this one's not bad. It's actually made by the same company as the last one, but they must have put a bit more effort into this one. Again, it's got very fake looking parting. I mean, nobody's going to fall for that. It's very much a wig and very much a cheap party wig at that. This one is a little bit different to the other one. At least it's not just a fixed bottom, it has got some elastication in there. So as long as in theory it's somewhere near your head, in terms of size, it will be tight enough to fit and at least hold on. You're not exactly going to go to a rave and hope that this doesn't move all night, but it's slightly better quality, and I think it was around about the same price as the other one, because again it come from the same company. So it was around £30, and it was a better purchase, and I will probably do something with that again. But those are very basic caps, very cheap. Next up from that, less of a party wig, and again, it's got nothing. When I say party quality, it's nothing to do with the colours. It's the one that I wore to Pride, which some of you will have seen in one of my previous videos and pictures. This one is slightly better quality, believe it or not. It's got a much better cap. It's got a lace cap in here. It hasn't got a lace front to it, but it's got a lace cap in here at least. The stuff is sewn in quite nicely and reasonably well attached. It's not hand knotted, and I'll go into the difference there. This will all have been machine sewed in to save time and effort. If it's hand sewn in, it's actually knotted not only to the weave, but the weave is also knotted to like at 2 points inside, if that makes sense. So it's much more durable and less likely to start molting on you. It's got, unlike the other cheap one that I showed you earlier, there's more support inside in the form of this lace that comes down here as well. So again, there's more for the weaves to hold on to, and then the more points they're anchored in, the less likely you're going to get hair coming out and things like that. And I think that's probably half the problem with this one that I showed you before. There's nothing like that. It's just it's just a net essentially with everything glued and sort of sewn onto it. It doesn't, and it's useless. It doesn't survive at all. I've had this a couple of years. It's got a slightly better cap in it. It's got ear tabs, anything, and that they help a bit. They help you find your ears. Well, not your ears. They help you find. They come over and sit sort of where your sideburns would be here, and the ear tabs do help you locate it so that you know you've not got it on twisted or anything like that. That's always helpful. These ones are not boned, and I'll show you what I mean by that. They're just tabs that are there. They just help you. They just help you locate the wig. One of the things you'll notice with this is, again, it's not a lace front. So although it is glued to the front and it does come out beyond the front, which gives you a reasonable edge, it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look very natural because there is no individual hairs sewn in here or anything like that. The hairline will look a bit odd, and therefore it won't look very natural. The top of it and the crown is slightly better on this one. It's further back, probably more naturally located, but obviously with the colours with this one, everyone knows it's a wig. It's also got adjustable straps in it, and this is really I would say the minimum you're looking for. You want ear tabs, boned if you can get them preferably, or wired, however you want to say it. And then you've got these adjustable tabs here, which are like suspender straps. They anchor up just above inside the ear tabs, and then you can use them to adjust it along the part of which would sit upon the nape of the neck, and you can hook these in at various points along and make it tighter. And the better fit you get, the more confident you're going to feel that it's not going to disappear at the first opportunity when you lean over to pick your handbag up off the floor or whatever it is you're doing. So this really is the minimum quality you're looking for. I think this was round about £45, and you can get good wigs, like I say, minimum quality I'd say, for like this for around about 45 to £50. It's all nicely layered. I mean, she's very, very tired and full of frizz all around here, so it is what it is. It's a Pride wig. It was going to take a beating. This was around about £85. This is still a reasonably basic cap. It does have a couple of nice little touches on it, but it's not super duper. She is looking pretty stressed and tired. She is my oldest hair that I used to use as natural hair stand-in, as it were. I've had her a good 2.5 years. She cost me around about £85. She certainly paid for herself many times over. I still wear this on a daily basis. This is my I've come home from work and I don't want to damage my good one any further than I need to hair. So this is what I sit around at home in. She's reasonably good quality. Again, she's got a lace inside, but it's got a better top on it. It's much denser and much better populated all around from the crown right to the front. Again, it's got a lot of extra supports, especially around the side here, and elastic, and they're all elasticated, which is nice. It helps it stretch out and it keeps it looking good. This is also 100% mono acrylic. That's the best quality I've gone to. I don't know if there is anything better in synthetic. I know there's mono and real hair blends, which obviously is slightly cheaper because you're not paying as much for complete real hair all the time. But yeah, it's not bad. Again, and it comes with Velcro adjustable tabs, which is more the norm rather than the hooks you saw on the other one. They usually come with Velcro adjustable tabs. This one does have ear tabs again, and this one is also slightly boned in the sense that the tab, there is, not that you can physically see anything, but there is like a thin metal piece that runs through here, and it is bendable. So if I bend it over like that, you can see it stays where you put it. This is so that after you've located it near your temples, you can push them down and really bend them in so that they sort of sculpt to the side of your head. One, it makes it feel like it's not going to move back, which is always gives you a bit more confidence. It does actually work as well, believe it or not. And two, it stops them lifting at the front so that your natural hair or your sideburns, which would be there, start to show. Because sometimes if you've not got anything that pulls it in, obviously it can bow out, and then people in like the wind or whatever, and it's blowing back, and people can see, you know, natural hair or whatever. Whereas if you've got it fixed in nicely with a boned tab, and then eventually they all just get to this point. I will hopefully show you how to care for this, or you know, care for your wigs in either this video or another one. But she's pretty good. Again, she doesn't have a very convincing crown. It's quite dense, which helps of course, but it's not very convincing in terms of like a top or a natural root or anything. There's nothing like that. So it does look wiggy in a sense, but it's nice. It certainly makes me feel alright about myself travelling around the home. I don't have any issues wearing it. It's comfortable as well, so it was a good little starter wig for like feeling like I could start to wear them outside and at least look some way convincing. Now we're moving on to much more complicated, much more expensive sort of caps. I've worn this one for a couple of hours today before swapping it out for this old one, which I'm sure you'll recognise. She's a bit dusty, but she does the job and I love her. This one was my latest purchase, the one that I now wear day to day, my chocolate copper one. At least in this video you can actually see the chocolate coppery look to her. It just looked black the last time I filmed with it on, it was rather late. But yeah, she's got that chocolate copper finish to her. Already, I've only had her a month, she's starting to get a bit frizzy. There's just nothing you can do. Keep combing them out, keep looking after them, but eventually, especially if it's daily wear, eventually it happens to the best of them. So this one, much like the other one, has a lot of weaves, has a lot of internal strapping, a lot of support for the weaves and the wefts that have been put in. It's glued, it's sewn. Again, adjustable Velcro straps. It's also got ear tabs, which are actually, you can't even see them, they're actually here, they're covered, and they have got really good boning in these ones. It's at least 2, maybe 3 pieces, so it just makes it really grip and make it feel like it's really hugging your temples. It feels snug, it feels nice when you know that it's where it's meant to be. The other thing is this strip here, on the slightly better ones, you get like a rubberized strip almost around the front. That helps to grip. You're obviously going to wear your wig cap, and then you want to have about, well, slightly less than 4 fingers, and then this rubber bit is obviously going to sit where basically the 4th finger would be. It gives you a nice natural looking hairline. A 4-finger forehead, you don't really want to go any bigger than that, or otherwise you look like your hair's moved back for some reason, like the tide's going out, and if you have it down too low, you just look strange. So about 4-finger forehead, 3.5, you know, round about there, not less than 3, not more than 4. This just helps to grip onto your forehead, onto your skin, even with makeup on. It is pretty secure, she's pretty good. This one is got a couple of nice little extras on it, but it should do. This was £379. I got 40% off, so she was £199. She is another mono acrylic wig. She has some hand sewn and mono top to her as well, and I'll explain what that means. This piece here is hand sewn, and I do feel a little bit ripped off with this one actually, because this bit is, you know, it's tiny, but because it's in there they can say hand sewn, which is very annoying. So this one's hand sewn and hand knotted, and the weave's just behind the back of the crown, which is good because, you know, you can tug and comb and run your hands through it and know that it's not gonna pull out or anything like that or damage it too much. The mono top, which is the big thing, is like almost like a clear panel. Now when you look at it close up, it literally almost looks like a scalp, which is what you want, because each individual hair is, and you never see it on here, I don't think it'll be possible, but each individual hair is placed through and then either machine or hand knotted in place to keep it from pulling back through. Because each hair is planted through individually, it makes it look so much more natural, and this truly is a wig that you could go out with and wear in public, and people are quite often surprised to find out it's a wig. Not everyone's fooled, and it's a little bit annoying, but I suppose some people know what to look for and others don't. But because of that, it means that you can part her all the way down like so, and you can part her anywhere you want, and you get, you know, that's my thumbs you're seeing there, so obviously my natural scalp would be underneath, or my tan wig cap, and that fills in for that, and it just looks natural, and you can do whatever you like. It doesn't matter where you part her, she looks like a scalp, like real hair, and that is nice, because when you're walking around in the wind, it doesn't matter how good your wig is, bits of it will be blowing around or flipping about, and, you know, just like anyone's hair would. And then because of that, it can look extremely fake if all of a sudden you end up with a parting and there's, you know, there isn't anything where it should be. But this one's got the mono top. It looks nice, and at the moment she's still thick and dense enough that most of the time you don't even see through to the crown anyway. It's got quite a natural looking crown. It's right the way back on the back of the thing, so it actually looks like it's in quite a natural location. Some of them don't, like the one I showed you earlier, too far forward. And just, yeah, she's pretty good quality. The other thing about this one, and again, so they can charge extra, because all these little bits like this, the rubber strip, the grip strip as they call them, is more. A mono top is more, and I would 100% recommend it. A mono top is more, and anything that's hand knotted is more. So they put these little extras on here and only giving you a little taste of it, but charged you, you know, nearly £400 this would have been. So I'm a little bit, but I mean, this one I'm wearing is also a mono top one. So again, like this one, you can part her where you like and get through to the scalp, and she looks pretty real. But unlike this one, it is just mono top, no hand sewn. She's got a rubberized strip at the front. But this one, the mono top, is from the front all the way right to here. Right at the back beyond my crown, that is where the mono top goes. And that's what I was expecting with this, but they stopped it at the crown and then put a little hand sewn bit on the back, which was like, ew, really? Never mind. The other thing that they charge extra for is a lace front. Now normally you get them and it'll have quite a large lace front, and again this is just so that they can attach hairs to the lace at the front, and then it gives you a more natural looking hairline. Because that lace is virtually undetectable once it's down flat on your forehead, and then you've got hair that actually comes over and gives you a natural looking you know, forehead or hairline, as you can see like there. It, you know, unless I tilt it right back, it's undetectable, and it just gives it does help to give it a natural look. Most will require you to cut it yourself to the shape well, not to the shape, but to the length you want. This one was professionally cut because, you know, I might cut, you know, the rainbow wig and things like that myself, and the other one, the sandy blonde one, that's retired, but I'm not going to go at the one I have to wear on a daily basis with a pair of scissors and risk several £100 worth of hair that I'm not due to replace yet. So no. And that really is like quite good quality. That one contains a little bit of all the sort of things that you can get as optional extras. It's got the grip strip, it's got the mono top, it's got the boning, it's got the lace front and all of that. It's just got a little taste of each though. I've certainly seen better. And just one more to show you. This one was around about £200, and it's the only reason why I got it this cheap was because it is a very short wig, and this one is a blend wig. So this one is 80% mono acrylic, 20% PVC fibre. I don't think that's particularly good, to be honest. I think you want more mono acrylic than PVC. And this one is a prime example of all the extra panelling and things you can get in them. So unlike the other ones, you saw with the other ones they've all got extra all that webbing and weave and stuff down it. These ones are all single sort of panels that are stitched together, but each one of them, the hairs all the way around are grouped and hand knotted. This one is a hand knotted, well, nearly all of it, and it does look very good because of that. It's just biggest waste of money I ever spent because I can't stand it. I don't like it. It also only has the Velcro adjustable tabs at the back and nothing more really. It could have been a bit nicer with that. It's got the boning around the temple, but really when you're spending £200 on a short hair wig, you kind of expect this as a minimum kind of thing. The hand knotted cap is nice. It's very nice, and obviously the more as it implies, the more stuff that is hand knotted, the better. It is mono top and hand knotted, so again that extra detailing is what you're paying for, because this is just a normal panel which is hand knotted, and same round here. But again, once you get up to the top here, it goes all like the other one did. It's all individual mono top, and that's what that means. This one also has a much bigger lace front to it. Like I said, that you can get much bigger ones, or this one has that. Again, the more of this that comes over your forehead, the more natural it's going to look, because if I turn that down like that and pull it tight, you can see how intense and dense that looks. It's quite nice. It was already cut and shaped for me. I didn't do any of that. I wouldn't want to, I'm not brave enough. But she's alright, this one, but she's just not for me. Short haired, sandy blonde like that other one I had, but unlike the other one, it just does not suit me. It is a complete disaster. It's too short even round the ears. It sort of comes up to here, and then you can see my natural hair underneath, and it's all just like no. I've actually tried giving it away and to a cancer ward for the women there that have obviously lost their hair. I understand how stressful it can be as a woman to not have the hair you want, and so I tried giving it away. They never even bothered to reply to me, which was disappointing. But yeah, £200 wig, only ever worn twice. Brilliant. Moving on to caring for your wigs. As I said before, some of them will come with bags and netting. When you're not using it, comb it all through properly, preferably with a tangle, an anti-tangle comb. They're easy enough to get hold of. Do not use, your standard sort of cheap looking barber's comb. It will tear it to shreds. But turn it inside out, put it in its bag, and hopefully it'll be ready to go the next time you want it. Failing that, get yourself these cheap $1.99 stands. Don't buy. I made the mistake of buying a couple of the polystyrene heads that you can get, which they work perfectly fine, don't get me wrong, but they'll cost you like anywhere between £6 to £10. These stupid little plastic things, like $1.99, and they work just as well, so why not? So yeah, it's just somewhere you can keep them looking nice, and after you've combed them out and everything. And you can hear there, I'm just running my fingers through it. Always start at the bottom and work your way up. And you can hear it there already. It's quite knotty and tight, and I've only worn it for a few hours today while I was out and about. But there you go. Even on the quality ones, you'll get the hairs that come out eventually. No wig is infallible. You want to get yourself hair care, preferably for wigs products. They're always on the same sites as you can buy the wigs, so it's not a problem. When you run out of that, like I have many times, just change it out for Johnson's No Tears Anti-Tangle Spray. It does the same job. Essentially it helps to, not grease because that's completely the wrong word, but whatever products they've got in here, it helps to make everything more slippy, and it helps the hair to slide over itself so that you can comb it out, and that also helps to prevent tangles in the first place. And obviously these being weaves don't produce any natural oil. So that's my video about the quality of wigs and the different types you can get, and the quality of the caps and the weaves and everything that goes into them. I hope you find it helpful. I will do another video at another time about caring for your wig and sizing your wigs and things like that, to help you pick out the right sizes and look after them once you've chosen the one for you. Thank you for watching. Bye.